What is good, Osiris? Here, stuck in the middle. I do have some thoughts on Whoopi. I think when things get difficult is when you find out where you truly stand with somebody. You really find out what your situation is, whether it's friends, family, loved ones, even interactions with people online, things like that. If you agree, things tend to go pretty smoothly. And if you're out of the honeymoon period, for example, with your significant other, and now you have some disagreements on household living, fundamental, these type of things, that's when you find out who you really are. And I put that to our society, country, but I want to use the word society. How do we handle things as a society? So Whoopi Goldberg got suspended for 2 weeks for her comments, and someone could go on TV right now, and I think they have. I played Kramer clips from CNN. They could go on TV right now and literally say unvaccinated people should have no rights. They could go on TV right now and say the military should come in and mandate, literally force that needle in the arms of unvaccinated people. We have cities who are literally doing it now where if you're unvaccinated, you can't come in and dine in to eat, kicking 5-year-olds out, looking for their V cards. You could talk about all of that literal, it fits the literal term of discrimination. You could talk about all of that and you wouldn't get suspended. We're living in a toxic, that's what Whoopi said, in my opinion, you can take it, leave it for whatever it's worth, was nowhere close to that type of discrimination I just talked about. That's happening in our country right now in major cities, and people talk about on major networks all the time. Nobody even thinks about a suspension. I don't want anyone to be suspended, but when you look at society and how we react to things, this is toxic. This is leftism, corporatism. What's happening? Yes, they will eat each other. It's not about really eating each other. It's the system of corporate elites that they say that system applies when we want it to apply. It doesn't matter to who. I respect Eric July's position on dealing with these people who are for authoritarianism. And he talks about how they are savage. They don't play by rules. They're hypocrites. You standing on values and principles, and you're fighting a war where they're changing the rules. It doesn't make sense. I respect his standpoint on that. I respectfully and strongly disagree. I think the way to handle the Whoopi situation is with love and understanding, because you can show a different way. Will that convince anybody? I don't know. Number one, it's the right thing to do. So there's no question or hesitation for me. She shouldn't be suspended, in my opinion. Not even close. She didn't say anything, in my opinion, hateful about Jewish people. She had an ignorant, I would say an ignorant take. I went to school with a lot of Jewish people in my elementary school and middle school. And then in high school, just the way that we had classes, we continued on through then. And one of my best friends at the time, his name's Steven, he would tell me when there's race on something where it says identify your race and it says other, he would put other in Jewish. So I understood. See, Whoopi probably never had that. I don't know. But I understood the mentality of someone Jewish viewing themselves as a race early on. I mean, this is probably elementary or middle school. So I got that. I never had any take against it. I was like, okay, cool. Like, bet. Let's go play on the playground. But I have a perspective. And my point is, you look at someone, I'm not going to tell anybody how to feel, but I'm going to use someone like Ben Shapiro as an example. This was a perfect opportunity to say, Whoopi, your show, The View, is just like Joe Rogan's show. It's people talking, just like I want to do on my channel. I just want to talk with you. I'm not going to get everything right. I'm going to be ignorant. I'm going to try to admit when I'm ignorant. I'm going to change my take when I need to, when I get new information, take feedback from you. The View is just, there's all women. So it's women on a show just talking. So I don't agree with them politically, and I know they try to strong arm their positions, and they would not return the same love in my favor. So what? Are you principled or not? If I had a channel like Ben Shapiro, and again, he's Jewish, I'm not going to tell him what to think. I'm giving you my perspective. I would have Whoopi on. I would try to have Whoopi on. I would invite her on. Say, Whoopi, I'm not going to have you on to fight or debate or argue with you. Just like your show has a conversation, Joe Rogan has a conversation, let's us have a conversation. I appreciate your apology. I want to give you a chance to further that, give you my perspective. I think it would be a good conversation. I don't think you should be suspended. I'm going to say that straight out. That's what I would do. When you look at the color of my skin, people, you have discussions with people of all different backgrounds, and maybe they'll say something that someone might take as insensitive towards black people. I look to see what's their intent. I look to see, and I didn't see evil intent in Whoopi. And I would say, if they made that and said something, I would say, hey, well, let's talk about it. That's what we do. That's what the show is supposed to be about. I'm going to end with this. The Roots, back in the day especially, was one of my favorite hip-hop groups of all time, fusing hip-hop with jazz. And it took me a while to like the album. The first time I heard the album, I didn't like it. It took me a couple months, and I gave it a chance. Back then, I actually bought, I think I had it on tape, cassette tape. And if you bought an album, well, you better give it a chance. Because if you didn't give it a chance, then you wouldn't have that, that you didn't, how much money did you have to buy another album? So my point with this is, I take information, and my Whoopi take, look how late it is. It's late, way after all that stuff has been happening. I take time. For me personally, it takes time for me to absorb something and to put it in context. That's a strength and a weakness. My point is, the way that our society is going with the algorithm, and the algorithm is training us, in my opinion, to react quickly. You got to catch the wave of the algorithm. Nobody's going to care about the Whoopi. Even now, probably nobody cares about the Whoopi comments anymore. And I know I'm biased because I lean towards measured and patience. But I think we need more of that in society, and we'll come up with better solutions. That's my takeaway. I think people reacted to this Whoopi thing so quickly, and we didn't get a measured response from most people. I wish we could, that's just a dream. I don't know how that could happen. But I wish we could have 24 hours, let's see what happened, and come up with a long-term take on the situation. Let me know what you think. Take care.